Hello, how's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hope everyone's had a fantastic day. Saturday, week off, obviously, weekend. Don't have to do much, hopefully, of course. But obviously, the world doesn't stop. It keeps evolving. It keeps revolving around everything. Of course, the world of Arsenal also keeps on going. And in today's video, basically we're gonna talk about the fact that Arsenal's nightmare season finally comes to an end, because tomorrow, last day, we play in the Premier League this season. We play against Southampton away, St. Mary's. Bogey team, but we're going to talk a bit about that. Our transfers, it's all over the place. We're going to talk about Šeško again. We're going to talk about Gyökeres again. We're going to talk about Rafael. We're going to talk about a few other links. But more importantly, we're going to talk about the chaos and meltdown that is happening all over the place. And in this instance, I'm not talking about the fact that part of the fan base wants Sesko, another part of the fan base wants, obviously, Gyökeres. One part of the fan base wants Lookman, another one wants Leao, other one wants, of course, Nico Williams and stuff like that. We're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the fact that the ITKs, journalists, everyone, they don't have a goddamn effing clue what they're talking about. Because yesterday we talked about the fact that, because it came out from Plenty and all this stuff, that Arsenal are in concrete talks about Benjamin Sesko. Today, news are coming out. All of that is fake. All of that is false. Yesterday we talked about that the Liverpool are interested in Mangieri. That is also fake and false. And all this stuff. We're going to look into it. We're going to talk about it. That's why we are here, so we can discuss this. So if you're new around here, of course, don't forget to smash the thumbs up. Like the stream. Helps a lot, the algorithm and everything. Like the stream, all that good stuff. Because, let's be real, it costs nothing, it takes a second, it's fantastic. Subscribe if you're new around here, because road to 600 is going strong, and of course to 1k, it goes without saying. And all that stuff. And of course, don't forget to leave your thoughts down in live chat, because we can tackle them, discuss them, and we can have some nice flow to the stream and everything, because to be honest, everyone has different points of view to everything, so we're gonna talk about that. Big up Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy, and all that stuff. If you're WWE fan and WWF fan and all that stuff. We need Gyökeres and a left winger, without shadow of a doubt, and we need more, to be honest. It doesn't stop there. We need about 4 or 5 players, I'm not gonna lie. Big up Gunner 81. Hope you're doing well today, my bro. Hope you're doing well, fantastically well. Big up TK, my guy. What phase is Slaggers in? And that is what we're gonna kick things off today's stream. Arsenal women's team today beat the best team in the world. On paper and in the game, let's be real. Barcelona, Bonmati, and all these, I generally have forgotten all the names, Paredes and everyone, they are the best team in the world. They just, what it feels like, walks. La Liga women's team, women's league, because they win 6-0, 5-0, 4-1 and all this stuff. But today, in Champions League final, our women's team beat 1-0, thanks to Blackstenius' goal, Barcelona women's team, which means Renee Slaggers, November, took control of Arsenal women's team. It took her 7-8 months, and she instantly has won a Champions League. Something our men's team has never ever done in their lives. Big up to our women's team. Big up to them. Genuinely massive congrats to them, to Renee Slaggers, to everyone. Because that is a phenomenal achievement. Whether there will be parade or not remains to be seen, but that is a phenomenal achievement. At least our women's team can do something our men's team cannot do, and that is win when it matters. But this makes everything 10 times sweeter. Look at this. Juan Laporta said this before the Champions League final against Arsenal for women's game. We have a better team than Arsenal, and we've already beaten them. Olympique Lyon worried us more. And if you don't know, Arsenal played in semi-finals against Olympique Lyonnais. We lost 2-1 at home, and we beat them away. Bless me. We beat them away in Lyon 4-1. And we progressed into the finals. And what Laporta added to that, we look forward to our 3rd consecutive Champions League. They would have won Champions League for the 3rd year in a row if they won today. And Arsenal, of course, one of the team that stopped them, which is quite phenomenal if you ask me, which is quite fantastic. And it's quite nice to see it, at least on some level, of our football, well, franchise, I don't want to say, but our footballing culture regarding Arsenal, we can win something. That is quite fantastic. Slagers is 36 and she was in our youth team when we first won it. Yeah, it's insane how time flies and how this has happened. And also, one of our midfielders in Caldente, right? She left Barcelona last summer to join Arsenal. Fast forward 1 year and she beat them in a final, in Champions League final. How crazy the world works, isn't it? It's just absolutely crazy. But at least we have seen at least one trophy for Arsenal to win this year. Like a big, big trophy. And it is Women's Champions League. Something phenomenal, fantastic, and something our men's team can only dream of doing. Let's be real. Let's be real. Big up Anwar, yeah, Arsenal is Spain. Men's team definitely is Spain. Big up YouTube census, Arsenal women's team put Spurs right back in their box. Champions League winners 2025, Arsenal one club. Kinda get it. Not pleased about this Sesko talk. We want Gyökeres. Exactly, that is the biggest thing. And it's a nice segue because I read this today and it's quite phenomenal what I read today about this. Oh, by the way, today's game, Champions League final women's team. Josh Kroenke, Tim Lewis, and Richard Garlick, which you cannot see in the photo, but he's there. All of them were in the attendance in the final. How nuts is that? Will they be in St. Mary's when Arsenal finish the season? I really, really doubt so. But hey, it is what it is. At least those guys were there. I wish they came more to our games to see what shit show we are dealing with. But since you mentioned we want this, we want that, I'm gonna show you something. Here it is. This is one of the things. Justin, apparently rumors of Arteta preferring Šeško to Gyökeres are fake. All of a sudden, Arteta has already given his okay to Berta to bring in Gyökeres to the Emirates this summer. Agreement apparently is already in place. And this is one of the biggest things I wanted to talk about today. Because that already yesterday, from Pletty, it all came out that Arsenal are in concrete talks about Sesko. Arsenal wants Sesko and all this stuff. Talks are in place. Same went for the fact that Ranieri's agents have worries about the fact that he doesn't get enough playtime at Arsenal, and there are questions about whether he will resign the contract, and if it doesn't happen, then Liverpool are circling around them like sharks. And there are lots of teams, let's be real, Ethan Ranieri is one of the big talents, right? There are lots of teams circling around him, and obviously, rightly so, let's just put it that way. And you cannot deny the fact that the way Mikel Arteta has treated Ethan Ranieri is total and utter disgrace, because he is utterly just a user. He uses players until it's handy to him. When they're not handy, he just bins them. That's what it feels like with Ranieri. Because Ranieri was playing somewhat consistently when Saka was out, Saka came back, Ranieri never sees the pitch again pretty much. He plays microwave minutes. And that is one of the biggest things. But again, back to journalists. It feels like all the ITKs, you know, Team News and Tickets, and if you know, AFC Bell, remember that guy, and all these guys who are on that level and everything. They don't know what they're talking about. And it feels like also, like your Goldberg and Goldberg FC. Same goes, to be honest, with, what's its face? And there's another one, I forgot the top. Eduardo Hahn, Eduardo Pagan, as people call him. Sam Mogbell and all these guys. They don't know what the hell is going on. They have no idea what they're talking about. Because half of them are saying, Sesko is number one target. Yeah, Arsenal and concrete talks. Other half are saying, Gyökeres is still the number one target. Arteta wants Sesko. Berta wants Gyökeres. And here we are. And now all of a sudden today it all comes out by saying, oh, it's all fake. Like they're contradicting themselves all over the place just to get clicks, or they genuinely are playing guessing game. They just basically having a dartboard, they playing blindfolded and they throw the dart. If it hits a pair number, right? If it's a pair like 24, it's Gyökeres. If it hits an odd if it hits an odd number, not even number, then it's Sesko today. And that's what it feels like. And in the same thing as well, it sometimes feels like they're sitting on their toilets in the morning, they're scrolling through news, and they think, Arsenal need a striker or a left wing. I know what I'm gonna do. Let's pick someone from the world, a winger. Semenyo, for example. And just writes a random article about Semenyo when there has been no links with Semenyo whatsoever. One of the bigger names puts it out, obviously It picks up momentum instantly. Everyone regurgitates it from left to right. And at the end of the day, that's it. And that's how the rumors are spread around. That's why I'm basically talking about these rumors, just discussing them. Mostly whether the player would fit the team, would not fit the team, how that would go. I'm not gonna get excited about anyone until I see him holding up Arsenal's shirt at the end of the day and they are going to announce that it's an official signing. Because all this bullshit we're gonna have to deal with throughout the whole summer. Kid you not, we're gonna deal with this the whole summer. And that's what's the most frustrating part into everything. Ian Wright interview on the pitch after women won just crazy. They saved the club from embarrassment. To be honest, they saved the name Arsenal from embarrassment to some extent. Arsenal women's team, oh, big up Marlon, by the way. This is Marlon's second account, if I'm not mistaken. Arsenal women's team win their UCL while we haven't even won it once. Yeah, they have won it multiple times. We haven't done it once. Arsenal women's team has won 2 Champions Leagues, if I'm not mistaken, or 3. Arsenal have gotten to 1 Champions League final. They have won more Champions Leagues that we have been to finals even in those. That's how nuts it is. Yeah, see, it's Marlon's second account. It's just InfoWars, basically. It's like the Cold War. If you know your history, it feels like the Cold War. Someone wants just to be the first, be the quickest to push out something and see what sticks. That's what it feels like. Alex Jones wants royalties. Arsenal men's team, Arsenal women's team, 1 club. Yeah. If only. If only. Big up social joins. Yeah, it is an engagement farming at the end of the day, because more often than not, if you are one of these workers, employed people who work for these pages, they get paid for clicks. It doesn't matter how long you spend on the page, whether you read it or not, or anything, they just get paid by clicks. That's what it feels like. Well, that's what it is as well many times. Especially if you buy your Patreons or you pay for like maybe subscription for certain things on that website. That's extra for them. That's what it is. Man, this men's team is a fucking disgrace, man. No Champions League, Europa League, not even Conference League. Yeah, we need to start winning something. Exactly. We need to, and desperately. I uploaded a TikTok today, and short, basically YouTube short I uploaded today. If you haven't, go check it out. Yesterday, who was it? Kwame, I think, asked about the fact that if Arteta doesn't win anything next season, he should go. Right? Go check it out, because for me, obviously, I'm Arteta out. I want him gone right now. It goes without saying. But ultimately, he's not going, so I have to make amends with that, for now at least. And for next season, let's be real, if he doesn't win anything again, and to be honest, even Carabao and FA Cup is not enough at this stage, because by the end of the summer, most likely, we will be at 1 billion spent. And if he has genuinely nothing to show for it, get away. Get the hell away. Women's team got more UCLs than Chelsea's men's team. Dude, they have more UCLs than we have finals even. Yeah, 4. See, even 4. Yeah, see? They have more Champions League wins. They have more Champions League titles than we have finals in Champions League. And you can include also semi-finals into that account, because we have 3 combined. They have 4 Champions League titles. Where's the Jan Villa links? It's not real transfer window until that. Yeah, I'm still waiting for daily Vlahovic and all this stuff, because Vlahovic also is on certain level picking up pace. We'll see if we get linked with him once again. Where is Draxler, Villa, Hussein Mouar, Steven Nzonzi, and all these guys? Where are they? Who is that? You don't know who Jan Villa is? Really? In 4 years, man, this club disgrace. Why can't we win something? Exactly. Why can't we bring glory to North London? Why the same crap every year? To be honest, we have glory in North London. Unfortunately, it comes from Spurs, not Arsenal. That's the biggest issue. Oh, dude, you had to be there. You had to be there nearly 2010s when we got linked with all these guys. It was absolutely insane. And to be honest, I'm still waiting for Draxler. Remember Julian Draxler? I'm still waiting from him from Schalke. Still waiting on him. And all these guys. Still waiting on Team News and Tickets announcement that we're gonna sign a mystery German from last summer. We haven't seen that still. Ain't what we build this damn stadium for. Yeah, we got sold a dream. We told we built Emirates to compete with Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and all these teams, right? And everything. Only place where we can compete with these teams is PR. On the pitch, not so much. In trophies, definitely not so much. All about clicks, no one knows what's going on. Exactly, and that's what it is. They basically, one puts out something, other one puts out something else, and that's about it. And then you click both of them, you read it. And that's why we do these streams. We don't take this for granted. We discuss the player, discuss the potential at the team, and we try to make sense because every single day there's a different report on the same player. We kind of try to combine them together over the extended period of time and make some senses of it, because otherwise, well, it is what it is. We're not going to sign anyone. Villa was a player we were linked with for like 8 years straight or something. Yeah, we were linked with him every single window imaginable. Every single window. And we didn't sign him at the end of the day. Why we sing North London forever? Why tell ourselves, well... If when Arteta is replaced, they should promote René Slegers to the management team. It's going to happen to a Premier League club eventually. Let's begin the fest again, dude. It will be nuts. Imagine the scenes if René Slegers gets Arsenal's men's team's job. That would be actually kind of nuts. To be honest, she's doing quite incredible job with the women's team. But we'll see. I kind of don't want that, but we will see. Team fraud looking for clicks. Yeah, all the time. It's all for clicks. We'll end up signing Højlund. Højlund is about 50 or 56 million euros, so about what? 45 to 50 million pounds available from United. If we sign Højlund, we might as well delete the club. I'm not gonna lie. We might as well delete the club, forfeit the season, and do everything. We haven't been competing with anyone trophies. We haven't won in 6 years. Disgraceful, man. Big club trying to dominate Europe, getting knocked out as any. Well, we are in competition. We are in the talk. The Opta supercomputer always predicts we are one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to win it, and we always fall short. It's nice how it works. Hell no, Højlund just is shy. But that would be Arsenal's type of signing. I just hope that's the biggest thing. I just hope that Andrea Berta has the power to deny these possibilities. Because if it was up to Mikel Arteta, we would sign Zubimendi, we would sign Højlund, maybe Zirkzee, we would sign Garnacho and players like that. Like, I hope there is some possible deniability from Andrea Berta. We'll probably be the first Premier League club to appoint a woman. We could. And to be honest, it might be not a bad thing. Because there are very good female managers. Let's be real, there are some good female managers as well. So there's no argument about that. But we'll see. We genuinely will see. Worst striker of all time. Not so much, he's not. There are worse, trust me. If we sign that guy, I will start watching women's football only. I wouldn't blame you. I genuinely wouldn't blame you. Now let's see, if we sign, for example, Højlund, right? Let's be real, everyone would say, why the hell we didn't sign Sesko? Or why the hell didn't we sign someone like that? They would take anyone over Højlund. Beat Madrid in Champions League, we got smacked and reached by our 19-year-old school. Yeah, we got schooled by Doué, Dumbele, and every Kvaratskhelia and everyone else. That's the sad part and everything. Moving on. Here we go. This is the same guy who yesterday reported that Sesko is the #1 target. That went well because today it got confirmed that these are all lies. But hey, it is what it is. Let's look at this. A move involving Rodrygo and Arsenal is proving to be very complicated. There have been new talks in recent hours. The biggest issue is his wage demands. Reportedly around 10 million euros per year. Arsenal are not prepared to go for that. So if we look at, if we quickly just 10 mil, right? He wants 193,000 euros. 193, nearly 193,000 euros net per week. So we would have to pay him gross about 320,000 per week. I'm not gonna lie. It's like 400. Wait, how much is tax in UK? 45%? 50%, something like that. It's like 50. If you are in a top earner in the millions, you are about 50% tax, no? You are in that department, basically. In the levels, you are at the highest level, and you have to pay about 50% tax, don't you? Something like that. Or am I tripping here? You don't like club always taking yeah, 45%. So if he wants 10 million net per year, That would mean we would have to pay him about what, 10 million plus add times 1.45, right? So we would have to pay him about 15 million gross a year. 15 million gross per year. That's actually not so bad. 15 million gross per year, that's 288,000 euros. That's in euros, by the way. So euro to pounds, let's just say 290. That's 243,000 pounds. That's Odegaard's salary at the current stage. That's Odegaard's salary at this current stage. That feels like nothing. We pay Havertz more. We pay Odegaard the same amount. In that regard, it's kind of nuts. But if you now start to include, let's just say the agency fees, agent himself fees, signing bonuses, if you add the extra clauses, let's just say 50 starts, you get extra. If you score that amount, X amount of goals, you get extra, X amount of assists. If you win some title, X amount of extra. If you include all that, this deal seems nearly impossible to some extent. To some extent, it seems quite impossible. Like, I'm just gonna put it that. Rodrygo is willing to leave Real Madrid if the right offer comes in. Obviously. If we ain't Ornstein, Fabrizio, yeah, whoever the club want, I just want them to do it quick. I want everyone to bring. That is the biggest thing as well. Like, obviously, for example, I want Gyokeres over Sesko, right? Boyten, he wants Sesko over Gyökeres, right? I know that for a fact. He also would want Nico Williams over someone else on the left wing. I totally get that and understand that. For me, the thing is, I want Gyökeres, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I want. It matters what the club wants. If the club wants, for example, Sesko, Nico Williams, for God's sakes, if they want to sign another Socrates, Papastatopoulos, and all these guys, sign them. However, sign them before the goddamn fucking preseason begins. So we can go into a preseason with nearly maybe -1 player signed, so they are ready for the season. Because if the season starts and we still haven't signed the necessary players, we are already starting season 1 step behind and other teams are ahead. Because by the time we sign, he needs to adjust to the team, adjust to the system, physically, emotionally, maybe even, and all this stuff. We are already behind. We are not the best we can be. And that is one of the biggest detriments that is screwing us all the time. There's no chance we get Rodrygo. This is why I'm still saying Williams is the one bring. I think Williams would be in the same category. Williams costs less, but he wants, I think, about 300 grand a week as well. And if you add the agency fees and all that, he would be nearly the same. We paid for Noshogard 250k. We doesn't mean kinda. Hell no, Williams is shit. Take a retired bail. On to transfer fee, agent fees, bonus, and all that. Exactly. If we had all that, Rodrygo genuinely would cost about, let's just say 80, 15 a year. That's 95. Agency fees, all that stuff. Add about 30 extra million, right? That would be about 120, 130 million. That seems quite exorbitant amount of money to a certain extent. But let's be real, these type of situations have been there before. We have signed players like that before. Brother, this is why you man aren't... I'm not saying I'm scout. I'm just giving my opinion. What you don't like here? You one guy who can even score them. Hey Marlon, calm the fuck down. When you add all the extras, it's a bit much. Yeah, exactly. Like, on face value, it doesn't seem much. But if you look everything behind the scenes with extra clauses, agency themselves, fees and everything, it grows exponentially what it feels like. And that's why the deal is basically said that it's gonna be rough. Isak scored 6 in La Liga. Yeah, I'm not saying like stuff like that. I'm team Gyökeres. I am as well. Because for me, Gyökeres is win now type of player. Right? I'm more for Gyökeres than Sesko without shadow of a doubt. However, from the other point of view, if Arsenal wants Sesko, right, over Gyökeres, just sign him in that case. We'll see what is what, and if he doesn't perform, get Arteta out, maybe other manager can get something out of him, right? Also, Gyökeres with Sesko, if you compare them, Gyokeres has a lot of places where he excels over Sesko. At the same time, Sesko has also already, despite that he's 21 and Gyökeres is 26, he also has some places where he excels over Gyökeres already. So it's like a mix and match. But at the end of the day, for me, Gyökeres is more like win now type of player. Sesko is about win in maybe a few years, right? I get that, for example, just like Boy 10 is saying. Isak in La Liga as well didn't do much. He came to Newcastle, maybe first season was a bit like 50-50, still up in the air. Afterwards, he just flew. It can happen with Sesko. But Newcastle had time, Arsenal don't have time. That for me is the biggest issue in all of this. Where are we? Anthony scoring for fun in La Liga, no one wants him, yeah. But I think also the way he plays for Real Betis is phenomenal. There's a possibility he will cook for Betis against Chelsea as well. I have seen links that Atletico Madrid even want now Anthony, and rightly so, because they're losing Angel Correa. Griezmann is leaving, from what I understand, so they will need replacements. So they might get him as well, and United will be forced to sell for cut price fee to some extent because Anthony wants out. They don't have any money, United, now that they don't have any Europe whatsoever, so they will need to get money any way they can. So they cannot hold people ransom to any team. So they will have to sell, and I think Anthony is one of the prime players together with Rashford and Mount and players like that. Isak scored 6 in Liga 2 different seasons. Exactly, that is also the case. Yeah, Sesko is scoring more for Leipzig than Isak was scoring for Sociedad as well. I totally get that. And he hit the ground running for Newcastle when he got to play under Eddie Howe. The way he plays absolutely suits him. The way Newcastle played absolutely suits also Isak. I totally get that. There are a lot of arguments who are pro Sesko and who are pro Gyökeres. For me personally, the biggest thing is there are more arguments that are pro Gyökeres than pro Sesko at the current stage. That's what I'm trying to say. Very few players adjust. It takes that's what Arteta says. It takes 50 plus games or so. That's what Arteta says. The issue is he keeps changing the system every season, and every season is about 50 to 60 games, so they will never get adjusted. Arsenal don't care how much the player will be paid. They just want narratives for us to chew over, basically, yeah. They will get at the end of the day what they think is the best. And then it comes down also to Andrea Berta, in my opinion. Because from one point of view, Andrea Berta will work with Mikel Arteta hand in hand. And for me, it's like 50-50, it's a coin toss. Because Berta definitely is being signed also to build Arsenal's future beyond Mikel Arteta, after Mikel Arteta leaves at some point eventually, right? At the same time, they will work together. And the biggest question for me is, will they work hand in hand as a cohesion? And they will have unanimous decisions. Obviously, there will be fights and arguments and all that stuff. It's inevitable. But will they work hand in hand? Or Andrea Berta will work with Arteta hand in hand, but also will work with a disincentive to give Mikel Arteta what he wants, and in a way just enough rope to get the necessary players so that he, at the end of the day, basically, if he doesn't perform, it's his own fault. Because everything has been provided to him. Because that, I think, also could be the case. Big up, AJ. Big up. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Fantastic. Oh, 13 likes. By the way, guys, big up to 13 likes. If you haven't already as well, like the stream. Helps a lot. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. It helps a lot. Road to 600 subscribers is going strong. And then to 1K, obviously, we're going to fly to that. They're putting up excuses for Rodrygo. We aren't signing him. Yeah, that is the biggest case. They are. And this also, something similar that is regarding Rodrygo right now, also came for Sesko last summer, something like that. That there were talks about, Arteta said he will be second, not Arteta, there were reports saying that he will be backup for Havertz, for example, right? And stuff like that. Then there was the money, then there was the game time. There were multiple excuses for that as well, just to justify Arsenal and Arteta not signing a striker for this season that just is about to end. So that is also a weird thing. There are many players we are linked with and try to sign, and when they are, let's just say, more expensive and maybe a bigger stature at times, there are more excuses and more reasons to not to sign him than actually to sign him. And it's not just from sources and not just from certain aspects of the game. It also comes out from, and I kid you not, from the fan base themselves. Because the reasons why we didn't sign Ivan Toney, for example. Oh, he has an attitude problem. Haven't heard a single attitude problem of him from Al Ahly, where he just won Asia Champions League. And he has basically, based on stats, because I don't watch Saudi League pretty much at all, I've seen about 6 games this season in general, right? He has 7.5 to 7.9 player rating throughout the whole season on average. 22 goals, 6 assists in league alone. So it's weird. There's always excuses for something. So proud of Arsenal ladies. Yeah, I am too. Won Champions League against best team in the world. Against Barcelona. Another Champions League for Arsenal. Phenomenal. Let's be real. They're doing something our men's team cannot do whatsoever. Big up Gavin. Big up. Hope you're doing well today. 120 million for Rodrygo. That ain't it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. 120 million for it. It's not it. Then again, it comes from the other point of view. Would you be ready to spend 150 for Isak in this regard now? If you say 120 for Rodrygo is too much, because 150 for Isak. Yes, he's proven in Premier League, he can score and everything. He wasn't too injury prone this season as well. But then again, if you start to, they start to include all of the agent fees, salary increase, bonuses for goals, trophies and everything, it will expand to 200 plus million. Like, it goes both ways. You kinda, at some point, to get the best players, you have to be ready to drop the dough though, haven't you? In that regard. Oh, big up. 551 subs. Big up to everyone who has subscribed. Big up to everyone. Much appreciated. You are all legends. Big up to everyone. I'm trying to say... I don't want to get into Williams' talk. Also joins. I completely disagree respectfully. We can get better than Rodrygo, so pay it if he gives 9 good years. Okay. I see the window now. Do I Barcola Lookman? Like, they are... Technically, they are available. If we pay the right money, they could be. We are going to sign Rashford, Anthony, and Maino. Scale to head loss on a scale of 10? 1,000. If we sign those 3 players, the head loss will be immense. Let's be real. Because it might not as well be, for example, ability of the players or something like that. It would be more the fact that they came from Manchester United, right? And people will deem they're not good enough. The money we will have to pay, the salary we will pay to these players, and we're gonna again pick up the scraps and everything. It might not be the fact just with the players alone. We won't look at the players. They will just look at the fact from the point of view that they are from United in general. And obviously how much we're gonna pay them, everything will be comes into account. Let's be real. But saying that, I would not say no, for example, to Kobe Maino. And I also would not say no, for example, to Anthony, right? The issue is, whilst Arteta is here, we are not signing any of these guys. Because he cannot manage these type of big players. You say, oh, Anthony is not big. He's not, let's be real. At the same time, all the players that have some sort of ego, some sort of attitude about themselves because they know how good they are and how good they can be, Arteta instantly bins them. And that is for me the biggest issue. All the forwards have to be opposite of what Mikel Fetish is over. Just get direct guys that score. Otherwise, striker will be forced into the midfield shift. He will be no matter what. Because I think that could be the case. Alex Baena, I could name many more. I would take Alex Baena at Arsenal in a heartbeat. Because he can play left wing and number 10. And I think he's more of a number 10. To some extent, he is the closest thing I've seen to Santi Cazorla at Arsenal than more or less anyone from that caliber of player, or maybe even from that type of money we would only have to pay for him. I would love Baena as a 10, personally. Viktor Gyökeres has done it in England, as that proves that he can do it again. When Viktor Gyökeres is no longer good enough, then you buy Sesko to replace him. I get the argument, but for me personally, I will say this, and this will come out very, very nuts for many people, but bear with me here. I about 10 minutes ago, I said that there are many pros and advantages of signing Gyökeres, and many advantages to signing Sesko, right? And obviously, for me personally, advantages of signing Gyökeres outweigh the advantages of signing Sesko. However, one of the advantages, in my opinion, Sesko has over Gyökeres is the low block. Because the way I see this and the way I have seen them play, I personally believe Sesko in these low block situations to beat the player, he would be more advantageous in those situations. Especially given the crosses, long throw-ins, the corners. I'm not even just about that regard, but also on top of the fact that somehow in these tight spaces, Sesko has better technical ability to keep the ball at his feet, and I think in that, that's one of the points where he kind of a bit more excels over Gyökeres. Gyökeres plays in very open football in Portugal, and obviously Bundesliga is not too much different, but it's a bit more different. And I would say Sesko in that regard is a bit better. 16 likes. Big up everyone who has liked the stream. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Definitely would help the stream a lot because it spreads it around with the likes. Get live interactive in the chat, leave your thoughts there, and subscribe if you're new around here. Road to 600, 1k, and everything is going strong. Luis Diaz, yeah, Liverpool don't want him anymore. He's been linked with Barcelona quite heavily in the last few days. We'll see if Barcelona can get him. I still don't believe there's any ambition internally to sack Arteta. I think Berta was sincerely bought him to clean up Arteta's talent ID. I'm starting to believe that as well a bit. I'm not gonna lie, and this is a very big point you have brought up here, Boyten, because if it was Berta who was making the signings, Arteta would have no business in this regard. We wouldn't hear anything about Arteta wants this, Arteta wants that. I think Berta is more here to get the contacts because he has a long list of phone book of the contacts of different players, and he knows how to get things done. That's for talents, players, and scoutings and all this stuff. That's what I believe strongly as well to some extent. I'm starting to believe that quite heavily, and that kinda also is great. I'm not gonna lie. At the same time, it defeats the purpose of Mikel Arteta of Andrea Berta signing in general, because if he's here just to ID the players and get the contacts, it's not enough. He should be at the business end as well, not Mikel Arteta who makes the final decisions. Because what's the point if, for example, Berta finds a player and Arteta says no every single time, and then Mikel Arteta gives him his players and he says, Berta, well, you've been signed here, you have to do this job, go contact them and get me them. It makes no sense in that regard. Whoa, it totally jumped the stream. I'm very, very sorry. Even Rodrygo was demanding 100k per week. The club would forward some excuses as to why. I could see that, genuinely, because the better players we sign, the less excuses there are for Arteta and top gooners to justify our failures that are gonna come inevitably next season as well. Because there will be some successes, there will be trophies, it remains to be seen, but there will also be failures. And the better players we sign, the less excuses we can get. What excuses you see Inzaghi making? He's playing in Champions League finals. Same with Ancelotti. He doesn't make excuses. He fixes the problem. Yeah, I totally get that. They said it was injuries. Oh, it was injuries, red cards, PGMOL, and all these craps. All the time. Small margins, wrong pressure on the ball, wing the dog took a poop on the pitch and someone slipped and did the hammy in training and all this stuff. And it's insane. It's genuinely insane. If Arteta doesn't win anything next season, Berta will sack him, no question. In my opinion, Berta is a proven winner. 12 years under Simeone, let's be real, he takes no crap from anyone. The thing is, based on how Mikel Arteta talks in interviews, you would think he's losing his mind. But the way his body language is talking most of the time in interviews, that cheeky grin he always has on his face, it feels like he's not worried at all what's happening at the club. That's what it feels like. Big up Rich, big up Rich, big up, thank you for your sub and everything. Big up Rich 99, hope you're having a fantastic day today. Don't believe Berta doesn't have the license to sign. He doesn't have the license to do the James Bond thing. I think Berta has the license to report to Kroenke some shit that's going down, 100%. But otherwise, I don't think so. Big up Pepper, big up, hope you're doing well today. Big up Di Marcano, big up, big up, big up. And we barely make any money off selling players. I think Berta will definitely improve on that. At least I hope so. But that's possible. Berta definitely has that. Big up Marcano, yeah. Sack this fraud. Sack Mikel Arteta. We've just seen the Arsenal women's team win Champions League and see amazing scenes. Sack Arteta right now is enough. We need to see those scenes now. Exactly, we need this at the men's team, 100%. Renée Slager has been there for 8 months. She has won Champions League. Another proof it doesn't take time. 65 phases and 9 years to do it. Let's be real. United will sell Bruno. I've heard that. Whether he's gonna go to Al Ahly, who he's been linked with in Saudi or not, that's the biggest question. Big up to the chat. World class, absolute phenomenal galactical chat. He should have been sacked here. No, it is what it is. Dima reaches backing DeMarcano's statements. Josh Baby, and he probably wants to see Arteta specifically. Could be. Boy, every single person at Berta's level of power for all Stan and Josh teams can sack the coach. That is the thing, but it doesn't work like that in Europe, does it? It works like that in USA in franchises with sporting directors, general managers and stuff like that. Here in England, I cannot say here, I'm not in England, but in England, in Europe, it doesn't work like that. That is the biggest difference though. Unless he has given the license, then it could be kind of peakums, isn't it? Would you play Gyökeres left wing, Cam and Sarah mid? I'm telling you. To be honest, with Mikel Arteta, I wouldn't be surprised if he was playing like number 6 when he was tracking back. They don't sack coaches in a hurry in NFL or in the NBA. I can't speak for the NHL, but now this is different. But from what I understand in NHL and NBA and everything, it usually they sack the general manager, they get one of the best in business, and then he provides the necessary things for the current manager. And if that doesn't work out, then they sack the manager. And could not that the same situation be applied here? Kind of the same parallels at least. Amazing scenes, yeah. If we win nothing again next season, Arteta would be 1 trophy from possible 26. There's no way he doesn't get 1 of 26, less than 4%. Mad. Arteta can finish 4th next season. That's the thing, because now Champions League is about 5-6 spots. In Premier League at least. Depending on who wins the Europa League, who wins the FA Cup and stuff like that. Which is nuts. So unless Arteta falls out of top 5, what it feels like, or top 6 even to some extent, kinda don't see him going. And on the other hand, if he has to resign a contract, he's already on 15 million a year. Because the next extension will be 20 or something. That is even more insane. I see him getting next season and the season after at the very least. So you think he's gonna basically see out his contract because his contract runs out in 2027. They are not on our timelines. Yeah. They sacked the Nuggets championship winning coach, so they do. They sacked Nuggets manager and general manager and coach just before the playoffs, about 6 games before playoffs, which is nuts to be honest. Arteta getting sacked, yeah, and the coach didn't want to go something. Why are we not after Jonathan David when he's available on free? I have no idea. Generally, as a backup, Jonathan David would be quite nice, I'm not gonna lie, but I have no idea. I have heard that he's been linked with Napoli. Maybe he will go there, but who knows. He has the best score and assist and is technical in the box. Yeah. If Arteta doesn't win anything next season and that no trophy in 6 full seasons, 1 trophy from 26, there's no way to... You would think there is no way Arteta keeps his job, but let's be real, this ownership is full of surprises, to say the least. And not the positive kind as well. Draxler thought he retired. Well, we call him back from retirement together with Jan Villa and all these guys. There's no way we will win the Premier League with Arteta. He doesn't even know how to play Plan B. Even the most average managers know. Yeah, most average managers have about 3-4 game plans. Just in case they score first, they concede first. It's a cup game when you need if it goes to extra time and stuff like that. Unfortunately, we don't. We saw what was our Plan A/Plan B against PSG in Parc de Paris in France. It was long throws from Thomas Partey. That was our Plan A and B. No phase at Arsenal ladies team and a manager that can get over the line. Yeah, 8 months, Champions League, job done. And she was even interim. Isn't even she on interim basis? Isn't she like an interim manager for now still? It's not even full time, full official. Boy, it doesn't matter. Arteta is. I assume it means sackable here, and Berta will do it by fully believe. He can't even use full academy team. He doesn't give the youth a chance. That is nuts. Conte takes over Napoli with... Yeah, Conte took over Napoli loaned out Osimhen, sold Kvaratskhelia. He bought in McTominay, who looks genuinely like prime Lothar Matthäus for them, by the way, or Ruud Gullit or something like that. I know it's a nuts comparison, but it feels that way. They have Billy Gilmore in the midfield with Billing and players like that, and they absolutely have destroyed Serie A. And like Lukaku at striker, which is even more nuts. Gonna be mad as hell if we win nothing and you have to see Arteta not getting sacked. Oh, but we have injuries, guys. Not enough attackers, not long enough. The lemon wasn't squeezed hard enough. The light bulb turned off and we didn't change it. Congratulations to Arsenal, become the Champions League first time, greatest. Well, it's a women's team. Big up Shaw, by the way. But women's team has won it third or fourth time already. It's not like they have won it for the first time ever. It's the third or fourth time they have won Champions League. Our men's team, that's the one that hasn't done it whatsoever. McTominay as a CDM having 20 plus GA it's insane, to be honest. It's absolutely insane. Flick won the treble with very young squad and loads of injuries. Yeah. What Barcelona did, they had insane amount of first team injuries. What they do just from La Masia, you for some time you will do. That's it. I know people are talking about Kubrasi, Fermin and everyone that they're the next best thing since sliced bread. If Berti had the power to sack Diego Simeone at Atletico Madrid, where he got, don't tell me he can't sack the Spain Brendan Rodgers. I don't think he had the power to sack Diego Simeone. Diego Simeone, what it feels like at Atletico Madrid is like God, pretty much. Mbappe 49 GA worst season, man, shows 18 likes. Big up everyone who has liked and subscribed. If you haven't already as well, like the stream and subscribe if you're new around here. Arsenal Women's Champion, yeah. European Golden Boot if he wins the World Cup. Club World Cup will be interesting, I'm not gonna lie. Absolutely, Arteta needs sacking. Boy, it will be nuts, but truly believe what I'm saying. Hopefully. Arteta couldn't coach a cow to drink milk. Cows don't drink milk. Cows drink water. But let's go. I've been preaching about Jonathan David for a year now. I'm tired. I'm the same. I was saying for quite some time why we are not signing Jonathan David. By the way, Fabrizio Romano, while we are on topic of these fake journals, right? Fabrizio Romano has been genuinely tweeting about Jonathan David for about 4 years now, trying to sell him. Still hasn't sold him. That's how nuts it is. Get Samuel Marodion to be a backup instead. Could work. Although if he comes from Porto, that will be some extra premium money to say the least, I'm not gonna lie. If it's Sesko that suits Arteta perfect to feed him all his BS phase, etc., that will mean he will keep Havertz. Havertz is staying without shadow of a doubt, unfortunately, as our starting striker. That's the thing. Last year, we didn't sign Sesko because Arteta told him he will be a backup to Havertz. And Sesko said, no, I don't want this crap. If we are going in for him now, you would think he would be the starting guy now, Sesko. Because if we pitch him the same ideas and same crap, he's gonna say no again, so what's the point in general? Draxler plays in Qatar, I think. Let's check this, by the way, while we're at it. Julian Draxler, where is he now? Yeah, he plays in Qatar. Al Ahly SC. 18 games, 12 goals, 9 assists. You can see he's head above everyone else. To be honest. 82% starting and everything. Al Ahly, he went there for what? For free? For 9 million he moved to Al Ahly. He's 31 only. Feels like Draxler has been around for like 20 years. He's only 31. How nuts is that, to be honest, if you ask me? How insane is that? Hope Sunderland stay in Premier League. Good luck for that. I hope so too, to be honest. I hope Sunderland stay up. Havertz is not going to be starting striker if Sesko signs. Stop running that. I hope so. I genuinely hope so, because as I said last year, that was the pitch. If we sign Sesko and still Havertz starts as a striker, you might as well fold the club on the spot and forfeit the season. Because this club is not serious then. How can you have a player who is not a natural striker play in front of a guy who is a natural striker? Think about it. Makes no sense. Personally, Mikhail Tadze a good striker. Mikhail Tadze could be a backup, not a starter for Arsenal. Good comparator for Gyökeres or Pavlidis. Pavlidis, dude, but Benfica struck gold with that. From AZ Alkmaar. Signing him from AZ Alkmaar, they struck gold with Pavlidis. Cherky as well. He might be moving for about 30-40 million to United, I read the recent times. That's how nuts it is. La Liga not as hard as Prem, have some yeah, it's not, definitely. I'm not saying, why are you addressing to me? I'm not saying it's hard, but it's more technical, definitely. It's more open as well. The teams play a bit more end-to-end type of football and everything. They're more open, more vulnerable and everything. It obviously plays into that a lot. But doesn't stop them from picking up lots of trophies every single year, also in Europe. Champions of Europe, great game. Big up to Arsenal women's team and big up Nathan. Knowing Prem can play a lot of academy players and win the league. This league is yeah, true, but at least play them then in cups. Like Wenger did, at least until semi-finals, until Wenger had to play the main guys. Arteta doesn't even do that. We played Saka against Bolton and Preston for 90 minutes. Like, what's the hell point in that? Gabriel played 90 against Preston. Why the hell would we even do that? And now we are paying the price for the fact that they're all injured. Brilliant scenes from the women's team. Yeah, Bundesliga better than La Liga, low-key. Nah, for me, no. It could be more competitive for European spots and everything, but overall I prefer La Liga still. Atmosphere, I'm not gonna lie, in Bundesliga is phenomenal, even from the screen. Rockets Bear Stars, the no-show guard. Havertz, Jesus, Fartogard all need to go. Manieri's been robbed of minutes all season for these frauds. We need quality signings, not projects. That is the biggest thing. For me, we need a win-now quality players, not project players. If we signed project players 2 years ago, I would be fine with that, maybe. Right now, no chance in hell. I didn't say Havertz should play striker. Havertz is a cam, right? Whatever that means, is not a striker. He can play behind the striker. Let's just say we got Inzaghi and we have double, let's just say 3-5-2, and we have double striker with, let's just say Havertz and Sesko or Gyökeres or someone. Havertz in that spot would be fine. If he plays alone in general, it's not gonna work in my opinion. Arsenal the Champions League, big up to them. Was a right wing most of his career. That is the big thing. He gets played. Like, it feels like none of the managers, unless you were at Leverkusen, nobody knows what Havertz's best role is. Best position on the pitch. Which is quite confusing, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. It's very, very, very confusing. Speaking on Sunderland, which got mentioned before. Congratulations to Daniel Ballard. Obviously, he got left Arsenal Academy for free. Who was promoted to Premier League with Sunderland today. Which means we're gonna play against him next season. Woohoo! Max Dauman is going to be with the main team, and Arteta has said he's going to add some extra young players for surprise for the preseason in Singapore. Ben Jacobs on Highbury squad. Big up Highbury squad, big up Sophie. Big up Sophie. Rodrygo and Premier League clubs is one to watch. The three I was told was Liverpool, who are now not in the race since they're signing Florian Wirtz. Arsenal and Chelsea. I think Chelsea are now less inclined to do the deal, but Arsenal are still exploring it. We'll see. We'll see how that is gonna work. Rafa Leao. Arsenal sporting director Andrea Berta, according to Gene James, had a telephone conversation with Milan winger Leao close to 2 weeks ago. He isn't top of the list for the left wing spot, but he is on it, apparently. And will we sign him or not? Go figure. Exactly, these managers even start playing starting 11 in Carling Cup. Me personally, Carling Cup Charity Shield should be under... Exactly, that is the biggest thing. Arsene Wenger did it perfectly, in my opinion. He played mostly youth up until quarterfinals, semifinals. When going got rough, he started his main players. And Arsene Wenger managed to get to semifinals, quarterfinals with the under-21 team. Arteta cannot even get in FA Cup past the 4th round with the main team. We couldn't beat this shit Man United team who had 10 men this season. Like, isn't that saying a lot? Isn't that saying a lot? And let's not forget last year when Klopp was here, he beat Arsenal with his under-20 team, what it felt like, at the Emirates 2-0. We played our main team. He had the team of players some of us had never heard of. Let's be real. He still beat us 2-0. Hey, we're all the Bundesliga wonder kids from 10 years ago. Havertz the only wonder kid I remember. Götze is another one. He was fantastic. Gundogan. Although Gundogan wasn't that young then 10 years ago. Götze as well, he was like, what, 22? So he was that at the time quite fantastic. Let's be real and everything. There are quite a few, to be honest. Bro is about to give us Aiden Heaven treatment. Dude, another one for our academy players who did not get a chance to shine for us. Gonna go if Joe Willock, Chamberlain. Lol, once everyone saw Rodrygo's salary demands, they started backing out. He ain't that guy to make exception for. That's what people think so. That's what it feels like. But you cannot deny that he has massive talents. Let's be real. For the left wing spot, he would be fantastic. His best games for Real Madrid have even been from the left wing. And he has been proven to be quite clutch as well for Real Madrid, especially last year in winning Champions League. So it's a 50-50. But at the end of the day, if you want top players, you have to pay top dollar, no matter how you look at it. Goretzka doing quite well for himself as one of the 2015 Bundesliga wonder kids. Yeah, he is doing fantastic. He has won it all, and multiple times, by the way. Big up Rich. What are we thinking about? What striker to sign? Thinking about making a call to Leao. Leao isn't a striker though. Meanwhile, Liverpool are just getting deals close. The biggest thing is, Liverpool just won the league, and they are signing Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, they might sign Gyökeres, they're looking to sell Luis Diaz and Nunez, which means they will have enough money to sign a striker. And if they sign a proper striker, right, oh bloody hell, they could go back to back. It generally feels that way. Big up Liam, hope you're doing well today, my guy. By the way, if anyone who hasn't, if you haven't already, smash the like button, smash it, caress it, hammer it, destroy it, all that good stuff, and subscribe if you're new around here. True, but Goretzka is not washed. Like, come on, man. Bro, when you see Rodrygo's league stats start... Yeah, that definitely starts looking spooky. Definitely. It looks very, very spooky, Rodrygo's stats. That is without shadow of a doubt, by the way. Especially this season, last 2 seasons. Definitely, it looks very, very, very like 6 goals, 6 assists in 30 games, but he's starting only 58% of them. 23 GA in 50 games. That is also nothing great, let's be real. Last season, to be honest, wasn't that much better. If you think about it, if you look at Rodrygo's stats, last season wasn't that much better. 18 plus 9, well, it is much better, to be honest. 27 points in 52 games. Like, that is much, much better. He played mostly at center forward or left wing. As you can see, his best games come from center forward, left wings, because whenever he plays right wing, he's dead silent. That, for me, is one of the biggest reasonings why I wouldn't mind signing him for the left side. I know we had this argument that he's not a left wing, but I still see him as a left wing. Personally, that's just my preference. I'm not gonna lie. That genuinely is just my preference, because, see, 19 goals, 11 assists as well. That was 2 seasons ago, the season Arsenal were firing. And he played in all the positions quite a bit of times, 7, 19, 27. And he scores from all the spots. He can play both wings, but he predominantly is best at left wing, in my opinion, still. But I'm not gonna get into this as well, by the way. I'm not gonna get too much into this. Because then again, we're going to go on a tangent. I don't want that. Let's be real. I don't want that. I know Leo is left wing just as an example. We're just messing around again. If we got... Like, question to you all. If we got Leo, would you be annoyed or pissed off? Or would you not take him? You much rather have Lookman or someone else? Question to you all. Big up Liam. Nice to hear that you're doing well. My front 3 I want is Rodrygo, Gyökeres and Mbeumo. Mbeumo as a backup, right? Because Saka is not getting dropped from that right wing spot anytime soon. Kimmich, Brandt, Sane, Xhaka was a Bundesliga wonder kid at the time we signed him. Yeah, he was. Sane has done very well, let's be real. Same goes for Kimmich. Brandt is not per se wasted, but he hasn't hit the heights. Goretzka has done fantastically well. Ter Stegen is... Remember, Leno was regarded one of the best young up-and-coming goalkeepers. He signed for Arsenal and it just went downhill from there, didn't it? Remember those days at Bayer Leverkusen when Leno was playing? Like, that was quite nuts. But Ter Stegen at Borussia Mönchengladbach was phenomenal. He was a wonder kid. His job has gone very well at Barcelona as well. So mostly that they were regarded as wonder kids have done very well. It's more than half our front 3 GA though. We need 3 new attack. I would say we need bare minimum here. 2 attackers, 2 midfielders, and 1 defender. That's the bare minimum. In an ideal scenario, 3 attackers, 3 midfielders, and 2 defenders. 8 players in ideal scenario. I'm not even including goalkeeper in this, by the way. Right? So 8 players, and that means a massive rebuild. True, but Brandt is... like Marlon, chill. I would rather have Mitoma if we aren't getting Williams. Yeah. In that, I completely agree with this, by the way, Boyton. Completely agree with you. I much rather have Mitoma than Nico Williams. Williams, Mitoma, Gittens, Leao. Interesting. But I would take Mitoma definitely. Mitsos is better than Williams anyway. Yeah. I am Team Leao. Interesting socials. I know when he gets stuck outside and in this Mikel assist, Leao won't struggle. Everyone else ends up like Trossard, Martinelli struggling. The biggest advantage you could say that Leao has over everyone is pace and skill. He has the ability to dribble with the ball. I wouldn't say Leao per se is also a touchline winger, but he actually could do well. It all depends on how Mikel Arteta wants to play on the system, because he can definitely pick up a system that completely annihilates any creativity from wings, what it feels like. Big up Mubrak, big up Nabongo, big up Mr. Robo. They say better late than never. Yes, they do. Big up. They're probably better than Havertz, right? Oh, 100%. 100%. GK, of course. Even Vanjeri better than... To be honest, Vanjeri is better than 90% of our attack, and Arteta just doesn't play him, which really is pissing me off every single day. Havertz 10 times better than Fraudillians. I wouldn't say 10 times, definitely. But anyways, anything else we want to... Oh, Arsenal. New center back links. New center back links for Arsenal. Which is very interesting because Hincapie is quite an interesting prospect, I'm not gonna lie. The agent of Bayer Leverkusen's defender Piero Hincapié has spoken with representatives of Arsenal who have reached out to tempt the player with next season's project. So Arsenal allegedly are very interested in Hincapie, Bayer Leverkusen's center back. I'm not gonna lie. He's a left-sided center back / left back. If we play him left back again, I don't want to see him in my life whatsoever. Hincapie. I think he plays both though, doesn't he? He plays both center back spots. Yeah, he plays. He's left-sided and right-sided. He plays a bit more as the left-sided center back, but he plays quite a lot. He has played 34 games as a center back this season, 9 games as a left back, and 2 as a left mid, which seems nuts. But 34 games as a center back, he is more center back than anything. But doesn't Bayer Leverkusen play 3 at the back though? Because I have a strong feeling Bayer Leverkusen play 3 at the back. With Frimpong and Grimaldo. Correct? Yeah, they play 3 at the back. See? Hincapie plays the central center back. So he's a left-footed one, by the way, so he can come. It's weird. It's genuinely weird in that regard. Vanjeri got more goals than Williams. Vanjeri has 11 GA in all competitions, and if you think that he plays about 80% of time, he plays microwave minutes, literally about 5 to 10 minutes at best, it's actually very damn good stats. Vanjeri has been one of our best players this season. Arteta has taken the piss out of him, but his agent will be getting calls all summer, definitely. Because we need to re-sign him on a new deal, 100%. And the agent has a big worry about his game time since he doesn't get played. And that could be a big factor. I hope it's all lies and everything, because today it came out that it's all lies, obviously. Allegedly, of course, again. But it could get Peakums. I was saying all those other Bundesliga wonder kids are better than Havertz, including Brandt and what. To be honest, Sane also has won everything you can win in life as a footballer, to some extent. Has he won the World Cup? Or Euros? I don't think so, though. Maybe he has. I might be tripping. I might be skipping a competition here or there. But he has won. He has done everything. Great, good defender, but would he get minutes with Gabriel and Kivior? Ty is going to... Yeah, Jonathan Ty is going to Bayern Munich for free by the looks of things. Never in billion years. Never in billion years. Arsenal Women's Champions of Europe. What phase is Renée Slagers in? I know, right? What phase is Slagers in? Exactly. Exactly. World Cup, FIFA UEFA Super Cup. If it would load, would be nice. Julian Brandt. German Cup. German Super Cup. Confederations Cup. German under 19 and under 19. 30 games, 5 plus 10 for Brandt playing as a number 10, number 8. Good stats, if you ask me. Very good stats. Plus only 25 million, allegedly, so definitely not the worst. For me personally, Brandt always over Havertz. Two different positions, by the way, I cannot compare, but it is what it is. Strongest, I know, right? Ethan has already signed. There's no way him and Miles have 20-minute video talking about their academy days. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. The PR they have pushed out on this, 100%. That's what I believe. And I hope it's all true. It should be true that they have signed. If they didn't sign already, it doesn't make sense for marketing. Exactly. That's why I'm kind of worried about, for example, Thomas Partey not being in the new kit release videos or anything. Because if he doesn't sign, it could get pickums. He said Havertz is better than Brandt. No chance, exactly. Arteta needs sacking right now, exactly, on the spot. Havertz has more European trophies than us, man. It's a disgrace. Oh, bloody hell. Genuinely, I just CBA with that. The abominable Havertz, real-time football. Yep, he does. Embarrassing for him at this point. Women's team have more trophies in Europe than... The women's team have more Champions League finals wins than Arsenal have Champions League semi-final plus final performances. That's what's nuts in this. We have been 3 times in semi-finals, 1 time in finals. And if I'm not mistaken, women's team has 3 or 4 Champions League titles in general, if I'm not mistaken. So it's actually kind of insane. We're not gonna find it. That's what's nuts. Arsenal women's team honors. UEFA Women's Cup winners once, 06-07. Women's Super League champions 3 times. Women's Premier League champions 12 times. Women's FA Cup winners 14 times. Women's League Cup winners 6 times. Women's Premier League Cup winners 10 times. Women's Community Shield winners, well, I just say 4.5 times. London County FA Cup winners 10 times. Our women's team wins more than our men's team does. Seriously. No disrespect, but Boyton probably think Brandt is better than Kevin De Bruyne. Oh, bloody hell. Arsenal women's team was revolutionary to women's football. Yeah, they are insane, genuinely. Big up to them, because our men's, they are picking up the slack that our men's team cannot do. Not better than KDB, but he's better. Yeah, Brandt is better than Havertz. I'm not getting into this argument, but Brandt is better than Havertz. Big up to the women's team, exactly. Big up to them, and big up to René Slagers for this season as well. Havertz is the worst Arsenal footballer. I wouldn't say the worst I have seen, but from forwards, he could be in like top 5, arguably. Arteta, big up AJ, big up Arteta buying 1 more left back. Yeah, left back / left center back. Yeah, here we go again. We need a striker, we buy a left back. Some things never change. That's like everything. That's going into hand in hand with everything. Anything new today in football besides Arsenal women's team? Let's look at what is happening in this footballing world regarding Arsenal. Our women's team, of course, celebrating trophies and everything. See? I won this in our men's team. I won this for our men's team, this trophy, women's men's Champions League. Chloe Kelly left the Man City on loan to Arsenal, returned back to Arsenal to win the Champions League. What a loan spell for her. It's actually kinda nuts. Let's see what Fabrizio is saying today. Just quickly. Let's see what Fabrizio is saying today. Here we go. Words to the Liverpool. Here we go. Everyone's better than Havertz. Just move on. Basically, yeah. Will you buy a backup goalkeepers? Name them. You can't just... Freaking hell. You definitely gonna do this right now. Rocastle, Brady, Adams, Freyer, Chapman. Big up to all of them. Let's be real. Arsenal legends. They're insane amount. We have 5 keepers. We do more engagement farming once the season are wrapped up. Silly season. Wouldn't surprise me. He creates a new position for the keeper, inverted center back, hybrid defense midfielder. Dude, it's nuts. If you watch the women's game, yeah, did you notice that our women's goalkeeper never was on the halfway line, never was outside the box compared to our men's team? Havertz has 100+ goals. Havertz is a forward. Brandt is a midfielder. Notice the difference. A striker needs the yeah, striker and forward in winger needs first. Havertz more gen, big matches, more fun. Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyways, Marlon is losing his mind. By the way, Boysen, in case you didn't know, Ania is a Marlon as well, so that kind of explains all the takes. The behavior every during pace training, and he'll want to stay at this club. He loves this club. Bruno Fernandes might be staying. Napoli. Here we go. We talked about Jonathan David today. Napoli proposal for Jonathan David as free agent remains the most important one of the table among Italian clubs interested. Team terms discussed at advanced stages, but details of the release clauses yet to be clarified. New round of talks next week between all parties involved. Former right-hand Bayer Leverkusen director Rolfes Devenozak approaches Saudi and blah blah blah. Ten Hag is becoming Bayer Leverkusen new manager, by the way. Luka Modric has retired. Painful day, not gonna lie. We are losing another legend of football. I'm not gonna lie. That is pain. I'm not gonna lie. That is pain. Luka Modric retiring. One of my favorite, one of the amazing footballers to watch. I'm not gonna lie. Genuinely one of the most quite amazing footballers to watch. I'm not gonna lie. It was great today to see Gyökeres, legend David Dean. There were lots of them today. Genuinely, Josh Kroenke was even in the stadium with Tim Lewis. Don't even know his true positions. Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest thing. I don't know Havertz's position. Feels like the manager doesn't as well. Havertz is one of those players that does decently in multiple positions, but doesn't excel specifically in one of them. In the women's team, the second goalie is the ball-playing goalie that does the extra inverted crap. That's why she didn't play, probably. That's why she didn't play, most likely. You're talking about Kingersted, or whatever her name, Hingersberger. I forgot. She's from Austria. That name is nuts. But yeah. Apparently Newcastle have some financial concerns. They may need to sell. United are ready to sell Højlund, Casemiro, Onana and Luke Shaw, unsurprisingly. Anthony to Atletico Madrid might be happening, potentially, as I mentioned today on the stream. Leverkusen considering move for Jadon Sancho. Interesting, since Ten Hag signs and they want instantly Jadon Sancho. Lol. Bruno Fernandes and PSG are among 10 clubs. Bayern Munich and PSG among 10 clubs who are interested to deal to sign Bruno Fernandes this summer. Yeah, and that's about it today. Garnacho could be leaving for United. Nobody cares. It's Garnacho's anyways. So that is that. But yeah. That is more... Oh man. He's just rage baiting. If you think Modric is better than Xavi, Iniesta, and De Bruyne, Rakitic combined, and all these players, how did you even put Rakitic in the same conversation, by the way? That's mad. Rakitic is a great player, but not on the same level. Havertz doesn't have a position, he's just a filler. Just like, yeah, it feels like he's like a Swiss knife, you can put him wherever you need, but he's not gonna do everything great. Yes, Anthony should stay in Spain. It suits him better. Yeah, you can tell that Spain suits Anthony 10 times better than Premier League. You can see that by default. It's fantastic what he does at Real Betis. To be honest, I wish he stayed at Real Betis and balls out with Isco and players like that. But it's inevitable he's gonna get moved to Atletico Madrid or somewhere else. Feels that way. But yeah, in general, yeah, I think we have covered everything today. Obviously, tomorrow is Arsenal's last game of this nightmare season against Southampton. If we lose or draw, it's gonna be hell on earth once again. It is what it is, but hey, we move on. We're definitely gonna stream tomorrow. We're gonna talk about that. So for today, I think I'm gonna call it quits. I'm not gonna lie. Today I'm gonna call it quits. I only believe signings when I see them. Exactly. I can discuss them on the stream, how it could fit the team, but otherwise I'm not believing anything they say at the end of the day. But yeah, for today I'm gonna sign off. Have a nice evening, have a nice day tomorrow, enjoy football because most of the seasons are ending today. If you haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new around here. See you all tomorrow after the game, as usual time, 8 p.m. UK time. See you all tomorrow. We'll see what the season brings, if we're gonna win or lose tomorrow or draw. Time only will tell. But yeah, for today, I am out. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy football. You are all legendary.